a few weeks ago, we did a video and we were discussing who would be better for the 49ers right now, Aaron Rodgers or Jimmy Garoppolo. And Grant made a impassioned case that it's not even a question. Aaron Rodgers would be better. Mm-hmm. And, Hall of Fame quarterback, better arm, is more mobile in the pocket.
Fewer turnovers.
Reed's defense is better, all of that. When I used to teach freshman English at Stanford and other places, I would sometimes, if someone made an impassioned argument on one side, as a good intellectual exercise, which students appreciated, I would say, argue the other point of view. And it's so enriching to try to see things from the point of view opposite you. Mm-hmm. So let's do an intellectual exercise. Argue against yourself. Tell me reasons why right now Jimmy Garoppolo is better for the Niners than the great Aaron Rodgers.
I love this exercise, and this is my opportunity to show you that I could have gone to law school. Not that I wanted to go or was asking you to send me, but I feel like this is a lawyer exercise, so let me lawyer this one up. Okay. Why Aaron Rodgers would be the worst for the 49ers, would not fit and would be a bad idea to get him. First of all, I got three things. One, the locker room. There's a particular personality in the locker room, and I've described it to you. It's different. There are no divas in the locker room, and everyone gets along. Jimmy Garoppolo is a big part of that. He's the highest paid player on the team, and he doesn't seem to have a big ego. He'll talk to any player, any media guy, any backup. Aaron Rodgers isn't like that. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think gets along very well with any football players. He seems like he's a loner. He seems like he's a diva. I don't think he would really interact much with the other players on the team. I think he probably wouldn't even be in the locker room very much, and I think it would create a whole different dynamic, that it's us and him as opposed to us. So that's one. He wouldn't even fit on the team. That's the beginning. Then let's talk about the relationship between him and Kyle Shanahan. The more I think about it, the more I feel like they couldn't coexist for a minute. Because here's Kyle Shanahan. The first time they have a quarterback meeting after a preseason game or a practice or a game, Kyle Shanahan will be ruthless in front of the whole team or the whole quarterback room about Aaron Rodgers. That's what Kyle does. Kyle, he's blunt and he's honest. And it's endearing to media people, but for players, it's hard to hear. I read when he first became an offensive coordinator, I think he was 27, he inherited Donovan McNabb as his quarterback in Washington. And one of the first quarterback meetings just completely undressed Donovan McNabb in front of the whole team, 27 years old. Donovan McNabb was older than him and really had accomplished a lot in the league. Donovan took him to the side after a meeting and said, Kyle, you can't ever talk to me like that in front of people. It's just unacceptable. I'm Donovan McNabb. And Kyle said, I'm going to talk to you however I'm going to talk to you. It's my offense. And that's pretty much been Kyle's attitude forever. He talked that way to Matt Ryan. He talked that way to Kirk Cousins. And he gravitates towards quarterbacks who can take it. Criticism. Jimmy can. Nick Mullins can. C.J. Beathard can. Aaron Rodgers absolutely cannot. If Donovan McNabb was sensitive, Aaron Rodgers is 10 times as sensitive. He would not let any coach criticize him bluntly in front of anyone. Publicly, privately, it would never happen. So Kyle would do that. He wouldn't hold back for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers would resent it. And then it would just create the beginnings of a terrible relationship. You can already imagine Kyle Shanahan calls a play. Aaron Rodgers rolls his eyes in the huddle, calls something else, or gets to the line of scrimmage and calls an audible. And Kyle Shanahan says, what are you doing? You're calling your own plays? This is my offense. You can see them yelling on the sideline. I can picture it week one. So that relationship probably wouldn't work because those two are extremely headstrong, and I don't see either one muting themselves to make it work. And then number three, Rodgers is too expensive. I've been tweeting a lot about this the last couple of weeks, and I think it's true. I think the future of the league is to not spend a lot of money on quarterbacks. He won a Super Bowl before he got a Mondo contract extension, and since he got that, he hasn't won anything. I think it's basically next to impossible to win a Super Bowl while paying one guy out of 53, 25 plus million. It's not basketball. It's a team sport. And actually, the more that I think about it, if the Niners were to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, what I would do is not trade for Aaron Rodgers. I would promote Nick Mullins or draft a quarterback because I think what you want is a good quarterback. You don't need a great one. A good quarterback who's dirt cheap. That way you can keep players like DeForest Buckner, Emmanuel Sanders, and sign other guys and not have to ask someone like Aaron Rodgers or Jimmy Garoppolo to carry the whole operation because as good as Aaron Rodgers has been, he hasn't carried Green Bay to a Super Bowl in 10 years since he got paid. So he doesn't seem to be good enough. I would say go with the cheap guy. I just talked myself out of Aaron Rodgers. Thanks, Dad.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Now you argued against yourself. So you've argued both positions.
Yes.
Did you find this fun to do?
Absolutely fun to do. And I think probably people should do this on most topics they feel strongly about because it opens your mind up. And now that I think about it, really, I could see the 49ers going after Aaron Rodgers. It might be a mistake, and probably what I would do is go for the young guys instead.
Okay, I'd like to make two quickie points.
Sure.
One, when we talk about what Aaron Rodgers is like,
we don't know.
We don't know.
Right.
So this is like writing a column.
Right.
It appears to me,
right.
It may be that Aaron Rodgers is lovable in the locker room. I have a feeling he's not, but neither Grant nor I pretend to cover him.
True.
This is how we perceive him.
Correct.
The other, Donovan McNabb, I hadn't thought of him for a while. Bill Walsh really didn't like him as a quarterback. I don't know what Shanahan had to say. Iggy, you know this. Yep. Bill Walsh once said to me about Donovan McNabb, Lowell, he's a different quarterback on every throw.
That's right.
What Bill wanted with Steve and Joe was that the motion should be the same, that they should be disciplined. And what he meant with McNabb is he was throwing from every arm slot, every angle, every throw. Some could be good, some could be terrible.
Right.
Every throw is an adventure.
Right.
So that's the coda on Donovan McNabb.
Right, because Bill Walsh wanted, he was all about the science of football. You don't just drop back. You drop back with a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, or a 7-step drop, and it's time. You don't just throw the ball. There's mechanics. And to see a guy just go out and wing it probably was like, what is this, 1972? What is this?
It drove Bill crazy. And there were certain people he couldn't stand.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't mean he didn't like Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
He probably didn't know him. Yeah. But just as in his work, he couldn't stand him. And the defensive coordinator on the Raiders, the fat guy,
Rob Ryan. Not Rex, Rob. Yeah.
Oh, he used to call me. He used to curse about the guy.
Yeah.
He used to. I can't say it here, but I write it in my book. I write about it all the time. And he used to call Al Davis regularly and tell him to fire Rob Ryan because he thought he was a slob. And you can't have a coach like that.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Can you explain that to the viewers? How Bill Walsh was actually concerned about the appearance of the head coach on a team? He thought it was important.
Oh boy, did he!
Mm-hmm.
He felt if you're coaching world-class athletes, that you can't be overweight, fat, sloppy. He demanded that his coaches look good. Mm-hmm. He demanded that his coaches be in shape. Mm-hmm. And Bill, he was always trim. He was always in good shape. He could wear his Niners or his Stanford coaching T-shirt and look great. He always had his hair. He had a brush, and he's always had his hair combed really nice. It was very important to him. And so to have a coach as fat and with long hair like that, Rob Ryan,
yep.
it was to him anti everything he believed in the National Football League. And I'll tell you something else, that Romeo Crennel, that long-standing coach. Mm-hmm. Now, again, never met Romeo Crennel. And I hear he's a very nice man. I believe he's a very good coach. Bill, the same with him. Lowell, how can you look that way and coach world-class athletes? He used to talk to me more about Rob Ryan, but Romeo Crennel as well.
I'm sure he felt the same way about Andy Reid.
He never said. Those were the two that regularly came up.